The opposition failed in its attempt to thwart Budget 2021 as it was passed in the final approval stage in Dewan Rakyat via an en bloc vote. The vote ended with 111 MPs in favour and 108 MPs against, with one MP absent out of the 220 members. The Dewan Rakyat currently has 220 members following the deaths of two MPs earlier in the year. It is believed that the lone absentee was Gua Musang MP Tunku Razali Hamzah from Barisan Nasional. Murmurings of an upheaval in the Perikatan Nasional ranks were rife today after Tunku Razali, together with former PM Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, held a press conference yesterday to declare that the current government led by PM Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was illegitimate, along with the warning that the government could fall. Mahathir and Tunku Razali have a long-standing political rivalry and sit on different sides of the political divide. Budget 2021, which at a pandemic-induced 322.5 billion is the biggest in the country's history, will now head to the Dewan Negara, where it will be debated and voted on before it gets the final seal of approval. Lessor Boca Aviation has asked the Malaysian court to dismiss AirAsia X's debt restructuring scheme as it rules out a debt-to-equity swap and gives too much power to Airbus as a creditor. This was reported by Reuters based on an affidavit filed by a top Boca executive in KL High Court on November 26. Yesterday, AAX proposed to reconstitute $15.3 billion of debt into a principal amount of 200 million ringgit and have the rest waived. The loss-making airline said the alternative was to face liquidation with no returns to creditors and is now seeking court approval to convene a meeting to vote on the scheme. According to the Reuters report, Boca COO David Walton said the restructuring was unfair as it writes off 99.7% of claims without offering creditors an equity stake. Walton also questioned AAX's unfair debt calculations, given most of the amount was tied to aircraft orders from Airbus that have not been delivered. AAX had previously disclosed that Boca had challenged the restructuring but had not given the reasons for it. The airline's plan needs approvals from creditors holding at least 75% of the total value of the debt. A source told Reuters that Airbus has nearly 75% on its own, giving lessors relatively little say. Widad Group is collaborating with Renani Dynamic in the distribution, marketing and selling of the COVID-19 vaccine known as VXA-CoV-2-1 and other products developed by US-based Vaxart in Malaysia. In a BOS filing, Widad said it had entered into a memorandum of collaboration with Renani, which is involved in the business of investment advisory services and other management consultancy activities. Widad said Renani on November 29th was appointed by Hong Kong-based Majoritas Global as his exclusive partner in Malaysia to handle the vaccine business. While Widad admits that it does not have the prior experience to undertake the distribution of the vaccine, it will hire experienced key personnel to mitigate the risks. The MOC shall be effective for a period of 1 year. Fraser and Neave Holdings announced that it will buy the entire issued share capital of 3 F&B companies for 60 million ringgit in cash. The companies are Sri Nona Food Industries, Sri Nona Industries and Lee Shun Hing Sauce Industries. According to the BOS filing, FNN says the acquisition is in line with FNN's ambition to be a stable and sustainable F&B leader in Malaysia, with halal food as a new growth pillar. The principal activities of these 3 companies are the manufacture, distribution and sale of ketupat, condiments such as oyster sauce, beverages and jelly powder under the Nona and Lee Shun Hing brands. The acquisition of these companies is expected to be completed in the first quarter of 2021. Malaysia Airport Holdings passenger traffic for November slid 30.8% month-on-month to 1.8 million from 2.6 million passengers recorded in the previous month. This is the second consecutive month-on-month decline in traffic. In a BOS filing, MHB says November's passenger movement, particularly for the domestic sector, was impacted by the extension of the conditional MCO that covered almost all states save for Perlis, Pahang and Kelantan. On a year-on-year basis, the decline was unsurprisingly more steep, registering a drop of 84.2%. On a more positive note, MAHB said KLIA had last month welcomed back Hong Kong-based Cathay Pacific Airways after a 3-year hiatus. It is also looking forward to the inaugural flight of Taiwan-based Starlux Airlines from January 2021. In a statement, MHB said the gradual resumption of airline operations and the introduction of new routes provides the group with an optimistic outlook of recovery.